I don't know if watching Untucked actually helps me or hinders me. Hmm.
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for RuPaul's Drag Race. This is season 12, episode 5. And as I said, I don't know if viewing Untucked before I do my reviews actually helps or hinders what it is that I'm actually doing. Um, Very interesting because I always have this thing. I'm a television show reviewer. It's what I do. I've been doing it for years, and I will always say when it comes to reality television, there are entertainers who should never do reality. They just should not do it because it shows a piece of them that the public probably shouldn't see. And I'm not going to go real deep into it, but I mean there are music artists who I've actually loved their music and followed their careers, and they did a stint on reality television, and I don't even fool with them. They showed a part of themselves that made them just where you just don't even want to deal. And Untucked kind of does the same thing. And I say all of that to say this, baby, I am so over Miss Britta at this point. I don't think there's anything she could say or do to actually turn it around. I'm just over her. I am over her. And I was feeling that way. And then as we got to Untucked, I was just like, shall I throw the whole bitch away? Anyway, so listen, we'll get to it. Okay, so first thing, when we started this episode off, I told you all how I felt about the whole Aiden situation. I like Aiden. I have like literally just fallen in love with Aiden. And there's people who agree with me and people who really don't agree with me. And I seen that walking through these YouTube streets this past week. Some of my close little cronies is like, I ain't got no use for Miss Aiden. Honey, listen, I am Team Aiden. I likes me some Aiden. Period. And it just is what it is. So Widow feels basically that Britta should have been safe and that Aiden should have been in the bottom last week. And then some of the others actually felt that way too. And that's not what kind of turned me off of Britta. I told you all, Britta got a little something with her. She reminds me so much of Chanel. It's that me. I should have won that challenge. I should have been at the top. And none of the stuff you should have been at the top or should you have won the top. Whatever. Anyway, this week is an acting challenge. Flat out, it's an acting challenge. They're doing a whole skit called Gay's Anatomy. Now, you all know how I like these little skits, honey. But this skit was really good. Every now and then they'll get one. Because, I'm like, oh, child, all this overacting and this camp. So campy to sometimes it's just completely corny. But this one was really, really funny. It really was. From the beginning all the way through. Of course, there were campy moments where it did get very corny. But all in all, it was good. This skit was really actually good. We'll talk about it. Anyway, so they did, like for a mini challenge, they did this little pill bottle picking thing. And there were 2 pink pills that they were actually going for. And those would determine who the 2 people were who would actually choose and be responsible for who got what roles. Nikki and Gigi actually got the pills. So, listen, these 2 whores, they really went little tick, honey. I said, oh, look at you all, honey. They purposely gave Widow the role, I'm sorry, They purposely gave Sherry the role that Widow wanted. Purposely. They purposely gave Aiden the role of a ghost because they're like, oh, there ain't no shine, so that'll be good for her. See, what's really going down is I believe those two actually see what I saw when I look at Aiden. And they wanted to make sure that Aiden stayed in the realm of not interesting, no shine, you know, make her, if she actually pulls any attention, it's going to have to come from somewhere miraculous. Keep her hush hush. Don't give her a shining moment. I believe those two see they were being very strategic. They also know that there's some shit with Widow, that if you let Widow, you turn Widow loose, Widow could shine. Widow's been being kind of stuffed to the side too. Because I told you when we first started, I was loving Widow. And now Widow has become a little forgettable in her performance. And then her behavior, like I was saying about the reality TV piece. Some of her behaviors make me say, Miss Widow, girl, catch you a seat, honey. So they were very strategic. I said, oh, you two whores. And I just watched them. I said, okay. Now, Miss Nikki right away realized that Widow had a little bit of an attitude. Naturally, she didn't get what she wanted. And the bad thing was, Miss Nikki, you didn't pay attention to the fact that you put yourself in a role where you're playing exact opposites with Widow. So you got to work with Widow. Now, I said, ooh, very, very interesting. And remember, the grave you dig, you're always supposed to dig too. Because the one that you're digging for someone else, you may actually lay in yours first. I want y'all to remember that. And that is true of life. That ain't just about no reality show or none of that. Listen, I've been here on the planet for quite a while. 48 years to be exact. And I promise you, I could sit here and go on for hours. I could make this video hours long just explaining to you times when somebody has dug a grave for someone else and ended up with gravel and dirt and rocks all on their back, honey. I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Ru came through. You know how Ru comes through and does his rounds. And he caught the Aiden shade and he asked about it. Honey, she clocked it. She clocked it right away. Because again, I think Ru sees what I see in Aiden. But Ru caught the little Aiden shade and she spoke on it. She's like, okay. So once we get started into the production and all of that, listen, let me just tell y'all right away. And I know that some people may get upset with me, but I don't give a darn. I'm going to report on what I see. I don't care about what's going on social media wise. We all know what went down with Sherry. I am speaking on what happened on the show and what I seen on the show. Sherry Pie was brilliant. She was completely brilliant. And Widow was pissed when she watched her perform. She was brilliant at her role in this. Completely, she was. I mean, just dead on. When it comes to Sherry Pie, that heifer is talented. You know, with her theatrics and just her setup of getting onto this show and work. She, for what I've seen in 5 episodes, Sherry Pie was slaying this competition. Her indiscretions are the only thing that I think are keeping her from this crown. From what I'm seeing, she's slaying them. Now, people may not like that I said it. I said it. What you gonna do about it? Now, her personal life and what's going on personally, she gonna get what she gonna get because the universe takes over and so does the law to get you what it is that you're supposed to get when you do wrong. But as far as talent and what was actually done and present, That child slayed them, and she's been slaying them in this group. Anyway, Widow rose to the occasion, baby. You thought you just threw something at Miss Widow. Miss Widow was flawless. Flawless. You hear me? She showed up this week as the widow that I was loving from the beginning when I was Team Widow. She was flawless in her role. And Nikki tanked. It went boom, boom. And I wish I had two more hands so I could give her 4 thumbs down. It was, she just tanked. And I just sat right over here and I said, the grave you dig, honey. The grave you dig. And I just said, Miss Britta. Miss Britta, she was getting on my nerves. She was getting on my nerves. Just, I don't know. I've just seen, I think I've seen enough. Like, she's just coming across so unlikable to me at this point. And when, in like the confessional, how Ada was saying, because they worked very closely together, they were exact opposites with each other. And she was saying how British, the girl, that big ass mouth, she said, girl, she was just spitting all over me the whole time, honey. And Britta, with all her placements and everything, it was just excuses, 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 excuses. Well, Miss Thing, you're telling us how fierce you are in New York. I was Entertainer of the Year for New York. Okay, that's a different kind of pageant altogether. I don't give a shit about that. I don't want to hear about that. On here, girl, for 5 weeks, all you've been doing is complaining and making excuses. Excuses, 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 complain, complain, complain. And I basically have seen enough. All my folks, you know I love you. You like Britta. It is what it is. Go on down in the comments. You can let me have it. Do what you got to do. I, personally, have seen enough of Chanel #2. She just, on my nerves. Anyway, so you know we always have some personal stuff. Miss Jackie Cox. Miss Jackie. She had a little breakdown about her mother and her mother's expectations of her. Her mother doesn't even know that she does drag. And they had a little, her and her mother have had a constant kerfuffle about Jackie's choices of career, her career paths. I understand. I really understand Jackie because I've had that same butt head things with my mother. Still do, to this day. I didn't go the route my mother wanted me to go. She don't appreciate it. She's pretty pissed about it, and still, to this day, I'm pissed about it. But guess what? Mommy will get over it. And I've told her that a million times. Either you get over it or you don't get over it. That's your business. Here's a shameless plug, honey. I wrote about that in my book. Yeah, I did a whole piece about that, about me and my mother and how we just don't see eye to eye about what it was I was going to do with my life. But all in all, I've done what I've done, and she benefits. She benefits really well off of the choices I made. But you will never get her to say, well, those were the right choices. No, because she still feels like her choices were better. But they weren't. They weren't. Anyway, so I hope that, I really hope for Jackie's sake that, because now, I mean, this is going to be national. Her mother will get to see what it is that she does. I hope for your sake, Jackie, that things will work out for you even better than they have for myself and my mother. We are fine. Like, we didn't break apart. And, I mean, we've had our moments, but we are fine. You know what I mean? And I hope that you and your mother can get over the hump and you all will be fine as well. It was kind of heartbreaking, but I was like, wow, poor thing. Then we found out that Widow's mother died in a car crash. I think she said she was 17 when it happened. And she literally had just had an argument with her mother before that. And then next thing you know, there's a knock on the door and her mother is dead. And now she actually has no actual connect with her actual family. And she didn't go too much further into that, but she basically doesn't have a relationship with her biological family. So I'm sure she has a gay family you know, out there that holds her up. But you know, that's all nice and good. But you know, gay family's wonderful. You know, I have some, but you know, your biological family is your biological family. So that was sad as well. Anyway, let's get out of that. Let's get out of that, honey. Moving on. Planet of the Cape was the runway. And let me tell you all, a lot of these outfits, the cape portion was really giving me, so what? So what? Um, a lot of them, they weren't full. See, when I think of cape, it's got to be, baby, listen, we're drag queens. Your cape should be full, beautiful, feathered. It got to have something. It can't be giving you old, sad, tired Dracula or 1960s version of Superman. It's got to be a cape, darling. It's got to be fabric, oodles of fabric or ruffles or feathers. You need something. And you see, especially doing drag and doing drag shows, we've seen 9 million different versions of cover-ups. Okay? So it's got to be something. Listen, most of these were just kind of like, blah, girl, what is that? And it was more about the outfit and not the cape. I was like, no, that doesn't work because that's not the category. The category is Planet of the Capes. I don't give a damn if your outfit is spectacular. It's about the cape. And perfect example was Britta. Britta had this amazing outfit, and then the cape was nothing but a piece of polyester chiffon. I was like, that ain't even a good chiffon, girl. It's a piece of sheer fabric hanging. And truly, she should have used, because she had like it was like a faux snake skin kind of thing going on. That's what the cape should have been. If you would have just did the cape in that, it would have changed the whole mode of the outfit. But she wanted the outfit to show, and it made it more about the outfit and not the cape. And it bombed. It's a mess. Anyway, but Sherry's outfit was beautiful. Cape was not Sherry. I'm sorry. Britta. That was Britta. Sherry killed this category. Completely gagged the girls. Gagged them. You hear me? She came. It was an Elvis Presley look, and she opened up the cape. There was a whole child, very Bob Mackie, honey. Very scaled. I'll say scaled down Bob Mackie, but very Bob, honey. It was dead on. It was dead on. It was my favorite of all of them. Gigi came out, baby, and gave you a whole couture moment. I said, you better do it. It was given very runway, sharp. Aiden came out here, baby, and gave you Silence of the Lambs. She looked just like she walked off of the actual premiere poster. And listen, you know that there were parts of Silence of the Lambs that was actually filmed here in Pittsburgh. And the house that was actually used actually was one of my friends' house. She actually used to live in that house. So I have this little attachment to that little Silence of the Lambs thing. And also, I think I might have told you all before, back in the day, I did my internship when I was in fashion design school with the woman, her name was Roberta Weisberg, who actually designed the costumes from the movie that Aiden was referencing. There's a cape that she did it in sequence, but it was done in supposedly human skin. In the movie, it was actually novelty leather is what it was done in. Roberta Weisberg, who I used to work for, I worked for her, and I also did my internship with her when I was in fashion design school. She actually designed those costumes. So I was totally sold on the whole thing. It just was what it was. Kudos to you, Miss Aiden. Baby, you did that. I got it. And maybe I'm biased because I have a special attachment to everything that was actually done there. But dead on. Child, I love my Aiden, honey. Anyway, Silence of the Lambs, honey. And the funny part is, I don't even like the movie. I don't like the movie. I just love everything that is around it that just kind of touched my life. That's all around it. And I think that the visuals for the movie were always amazing. But I don't really, the movie itself gives me the creeps. But anyway, whatever. It's an experience. Nobody can ever take it away from me. Anyway, moving on. Down off my soapbox, honey. But boom, bam it. I'm back. Let's move on. So like I said, a lot of the other capes, they were just like not even worth mentioning. They were just like, psh. Jackie Cox was cool because it did give me just the cape. I was like, girl, I don't like that outfit. But at least she went there with the cape. Her cape was full, and it was actually two-sided. It was gold on one side, and it was a whole nother color. I think it was purple on the underneath side. So it was well done. But the outfit, I was like, girl, that's a no for me. Okay, so like I said, the skit was really, really good. My favorites in the skit were Widow, Sherry, of course. I think Sherry was the best myself. Next after her was Widow. Aiden did a very good job having cracked their faces. And Jada was really good to me. I thought Jada was good. And she had a hard time with like her lines and delivering. You know, she just got a little overwhelmed, but she pulled it off. She pulled it off. Her cape outfit was really groovy too. But you know, it fit her brand. Like, it didn't surprise me. It was pretty and it was nice. And Normani was actually a guest judge. Normani went in over Jada's outfit. Anyway, the winner overall, Sherry Pie. She killed him. And here's the bottom two. Bottom two were Heidi and Nikki. I would not have put my Heidi down in the bottom two. I would have put Britta in the bottom two with Nikki, not my Heidi. They did their little thing to Heart to Break. And now dig this, y'all, and y'all may get upset with me, but it's just the way I do things. And remember, I come from the pageant world as well. And then I have my own strict things about drag. And I've told you all in the past, if you ever want to when I'm a judge on something, if you want to lose your points, and I mean most of your points, lose your wig or lose your tuck. You will get no points from me. None. And that's on the ballroom floor as well as on the pageant floor. And that was always the thing when I was in the ballroom. It was like, child, if you put a wig on, bitch, keep it on. If it come off, I will chop your ass. Because if you can't keep your wig on, don't put it on. Either you're going to be a girl or you're going to be a boy. If you don't know how to be a girl properly, then don't do it. Another situation. Down off my soapbox. But on boom, boom, bam it. Listen. So, Nikki got eliminated. Because, of course, Heidi performed her completely underneath the damn ground. Slayed her as far as the performance. But, again, I have to disagree with Rue because I felt like Heidi totally outperformed Nikki. But at the moment that Heidi's wig fell off, Heidi, I would have sent your ass home, baby. I'd have sent you packing. I sure would have. Drag 101. Wigs, tucks, stay. Period. You gonna put a wig on? Learn how to keep it on. You doing drag? There is no room in drag for penises. Period. There's something that we should never see. We should never have a conversation about it. Anything male anatomy, we shouldn't be discussing in drag. It should never come up. So, literally, that's double entendre. But yeah, it should never come up, honey. And if it does, I'll send you packing. So I have to disagree with Rue. I would have sent Heidi home. As much as I love Heidi, and I like Heidi. I'd have sent Heidi packing. But Rue let it slide. Rue went ahead and eliminated Nikki. And I have to give it to Nikki, honey. Nikki was gracious. Because Nikki's a bit of a bitch. Nikki could be a bit of a bitch. And I saw a very sweet side of her after she got eliminated. And I think the game was over at that point, and the real Nikki showed that she's probably really a sweet person because she left a wig she said it was her Nicki Minaj wig that she didn't get the chance to leave to wear. She left it for Heidi. She also left something else, a garment for Heidi. And she had a conversation with Heidi and told her, "Don't you be down on yourself because you don't have a $2,000 outfit like some of these other bitches. When you do what you do, you are amazing. Do what you do." And then Heidi went out there and whooped her ass, honey. I said, "Oops." But I think that the real Nikki is probably actually really sweet, but the competition Nikki is a bit of a bitch. Britta, I don't see that. That's what I was telling you all about the whole thing about reality show. Britta, when I watched Unsung, not Unsung, the Untucked, it everything that I felt in my review, it just amplified it by 10. I was like, the hell with Britta, throw her in the garbage, throw the whole bitch away. Period. Um, and yeah, I felt like, and I'm telling you, that thing with Heidi, you were doing these little flips and these tricks. Y'all know I'm sick of all these flips and tricks. And if you're going to do it, commit to it. And she did this. She was doing fast. She's doing these slow motion splits and all these little things. She wasn't totally overdoing it. It was actually working into her favor. And then she did this front rollover. And I know her tape and her wig popped. Her wig glue and her tape and stuff popped when she did the front rollover. And when she rolled up over into the split, her wig fell off. And right then is when I'd have told her, get your purse. Because ain't nobody told you to do that. Ain't nobody told you to do a front rollover. Get that wig and get your purse. Get out. And I would have done that. Anybody can be mad. They want to be mad. It is what it is. If you go back to my very first drag race review, I ain't never changed. I've always thought wigs and tucks. I will not take nor make excuses for you. So, enough fussing from James. Anyway, it was a very good episode. I very much enjoyed it. Yeah. Good night, Miss Nikki. Bruh. Anyway, I'll catch y'all next week. Later.